r/AskReddit, what are some basic truths that people tend to forget? Vaccines work. The Earth is a 20-sided die and God rolled a 1. It's okay to use your turn signal. Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. We are all going to die. Just do what you want to do, within the law's limits, and stop caring about what other people think. Shall not be infringed. Delaying gratification makes your life easier. Just because the worst thing that ever happened to me isn't as bad as the worst thing that ever happened to you does not change the fact that it's the worst thing that ever happened to me. Someone going through the worst thing that ever happened to them is not going to feel better just because you tried to minimize their trauma. It is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That is not weakness, that is life. Pickard. Never underestimate the power of stupid people in large groups. George Carlin. It ain't all about you. The sea level is rising because we have put heavy ships and big carriers in the seas. 99.99% of people will not care about or remember that embarrassing awkward thing you just did. Documentaries do not have to tell the truth, and usually twist and manipulate facts to fit their bias and agenda. Chances are that if you're on Reddit then your life is better than 70% of people in the world. Try to remember that when you're only comparing yourself to rich and successful people. Nearly all of your beloved entertainers use cocaine frequently. You just convince yourself they don't for some reason. I think it's easy to look around at people who appear happy, whether that's in person or over social media, and feel like something is wrong with you because you're not feeling the same way. The truth is that every human around you is coping with their own difficulties in some way, and everybody has things that keep them up at night. I think it's important to consider we all have feelings and hard times. People are very judgmental at seeing just the surface of somebody's life. Everything you hear, especially on the internet, isn't always true. The present is history in the making. You will always have to fight for your rights, including democracy. One gained they must be defended, or you will lose them. Just because someone is an expert in one field, doesn't make them an expert in everything. The better looking you are, the more personal and professional opportunities you will have. This applies to both men and women. That it is possible for even the smartest people to be wrong about a few basic things. Nuance exists. Your job is to make your boss's life easier. It's not about your actual job duties. It's not about how much time and effort you put in. The end of each day, did you make your boss's life easier or harder? That is the only job performance question that matters. Your diet can harm you, no matter the weight. It doesn't matter if you stay skinny while eating tons of junk food. It can still cause illnesses. Yes. Overweight or obese people are more at risk for such, but an unhealthy diet is an unhealthy diet. No matter how fast your metabolism is. Bad things happen for no reason. Mother Nature will completely F you over. We are all going to die. Most people can't self-reflect that they are a problem. Patience is a virtue. Don't be a D to someone who serves you food. People care a lot less than you think they do. Stupidity isn't the opposite of knowledge. Fear is. 1. The world is not fair for everyone. 2. Also, nobody gives a D about your opinions. In the workplace, a lack of organization on your part does not now make it an emergency on my part. Most of the time people are more than happy to help, but don't believe you're entitled to them dropping everything. Love alone isn't enough to sustain a healthy relationship. People easily follow horrific ideals. I think it's scary to think that the people who committed war crimes were otherwise normal people. Like, It's insane to think that someone like you or me could be persuaded into following, or at least being complicit, something as horrific as the Holocaust, or the Armenian genocide, or Japan's various WW2 war crimes. It's easy to portray them as total evil, but that just kind of creates a false sense of comfort. Like, I know I'm not total evil, so there's no way something like this could happen again. Never attribute to malice that which can be adequately explained by stupidity. Hanlon's razor. The earth is a sphere. I like this quote. You compare your behind the scenes to other people's highlight reels. Human rights are rights for all humans, including you. When we talk about scrapping the Human Rights Act, as they are the UK right now, or forfeiting human rights for certain crimes, that affects you as well, the people you're mad at. The majority of your actions will not just impact you. Take more time before acting. Don't fear failure, it's a great teacher. It takes mad discipline to earn those stacks, yo. The views you read on social media platforms rarely represent the views of the populace. The truly wealthy want, almost, everyone else to be truly miserable, because the more miserable you are, the more likely you are to make bad and impulsive decisions. They are more than ready to help you execute those impulse decisions, though, through the businesses they own. It makes them even more wealthy. Money isn't actually the point of life for our society, that's just something they keep telling us. The number of people in the entire world that truly care about you fits on one hand. All opinions are not equal. Some are a very great deal more robust, sophisticated and well supported in logic and argument than others. Douglas Adams. Russia almost single-handedly won WW2. They killed around 90% of NS. Celebrities are human beings. The government doesn't give a F about you. Left or right, liberal or conservative, it all doesn't matter. Politicians are simply there to enrich themselves, their cronies, and continually expand their power. It's literally all about elitism. Ideologies are just the cover story to keep people divided. Self-improvement and change for oneself is ridiculously hard. Often you will fail, but it's only perseverance and resolve that can get you through. You have to ask yourself the hardest questions about yourself and act. Watching videos about understanding yourself for the better can help, quotes can help too. But it won't be effective if you don't practice. I'm guilty of this, and I acknowledge the difficulty. No one wants to be that guy or girl saying they're going to make a change and later never go through with it. Freedom comes with a lot of responsibility. Just because they are having good grades, doesn't automatically mean they are intelligent. You're entitled to your opinion means you're allowed to have an opinion. It doesn't mean others are obligated to listen, or care. Bad things happen to good people, and good things happen to bad people, so don't expect life to favor you. Make the most of your situations is literally all you can do. Cash rules everything around me. Everyone makes mistakes. Me. You. Everyone. So forgive yourself and be kind to others when it happens. What you see in social media is the best parts of someone, not an accurate depiction. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. Plenty. Boys and girls are about equal strength. The economy goes in cycles. Social media should be for honest ideas. The smart people will tell you unpleasant truths. Perfection is non-existent. You don't need to help others. Life has ups and downs. It is hard to win an argument against a genius but impossible to win an argument against an idiot. If someone is talking smack about someone behind their back, they are probably doing the same to you too. People are human, bad or good, we're all just human. Simple as that. Many of us can think of people as like some judgmental collective of eyes all on you, or some group that you can't ever understand or be a part of. We all have so much in common, and everyone gets so caught up in debate and labels and separation and others that we forget we're all the same species who have similar thoughts and feelings and experiences and wants and needs. Just because we have different opinions doesn't mean we can't be friends or that we have to hate each other. Everyone understands everything in light of their own experiences. Epstein didn't kill himself. Just because someone is family doesn't mean they will treat you well or that you have to get along. It's alright to go separate ways if they harm you. Earth being a sphere. Bad things don't happen only to other people. Saying that you shouldn't feel down because someone else has it worse than you is as nonsensical as saying you shouldn't ever feel happy because someone else has it better. They are your feelings and they are valid. Labor creates all value. Trans rights are human rights. You can't just get a job make XXX amount as soon you get a degree. You live in right now. People don't owe you anything. Take your wisdom where you find it, Sloopy. In the US, we pay the salaries of our elected representatives. Not everything on the internet is the truth. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions. No one is less than another. We are equal. You have the right to own your own feelings, but don't be a duck about. Most importantly, not everyone is going to like you. You'll be hated for your successes or failures. If you're fat or thin with good looks or bad ones, someone will always hate you. Hate is nurtured by the hater and is not something you have done that warrants hate being dished out to you. Do not be afraid to be hated, but be cautious of the hater. If you're going to be hated anyways, why not be brave enough to be who you want to be? Shane Coixon. Some people are smarter than others. There's no such thing as truth. Don't tell people things that you don't want them to know about you also, and related. Co-workers aren't friends. They are co-workers. You are worthy of love and capable of loving. That doesn't make it easy, though. If you keep getting new chargers and they keep on breaking, it's probably you who is filling up the chargers by the way you pull on it. Unplug it from your phone and or outlet. The stock market has an upward bias. We all are gonna die. Big alligator is good alligator. The definition of wetness, as seen in the Cambridge Dictionary, is the state of containing or being covered with water or another liquid. Therefore, water itself cannot be wet, although the container it sits in can be. Don't at me. Just because you have the right to do something doesn't mean you aren't an a-hole. Just because it's legal doesn't make it right. We are all gonna die. Everything is said to be impossible until someone does it. Just because you are older does not mean you are smarter or automatically right. CC, all African parents and older siblings. Finding truth and learning to distinguish it from falsehood is hard. Just because you win a medal doesn't mean you win in life. That the state was created to serve the people, not the other way around. You are ultimately responsible for your own safety. If you want something in life, you have to work for it. Things will never perfectly fall into place unless you make it happen. You don't have to follow the social bandwagon just because everyone else is doing it. Think for yourself. Be skeptical about situations and facts that aren't perfectly clear. If we don't come up with our own conclusions and just follow everything that we're told to do, then we are going to lose ourselves and potentially give up our freedoms. We will follow the social bandwagon of society no matter where it leads us, even if it drags us down a path more dangerous than we could ever imagine. Remember the Constitution. Sorry, I live in the US. For those outside of it, remember the Declaration of Independence and why we're here. If we don't remember these things, We're going to give up everything that we stood for in the beginning and all of our freedoms. And at least to me, that would be one of the saddest things we as Americans could ever do. Life isn't fair. Deal with it. I'm sorry. I don't know about forgetting it as much as never learning it. Your feelings are your choice. You don't choose to be gay, bi, pan, trans, non-binary, etc. Straight people can attend pride festivals, it's not hard to use they them pounds. And gays can go to heaven. Most people believe they are above average drivers, but only 50% of people can truly be above average. It is just as likely to be below average. In the USA, your First Amendment rights protects you from being persecuted by the government, but does not protect you from private organizations or people. I'm looking at you, Karen, who decided to vocalize how red I am for not having enough flowers on display for Mother's Day. Everyone's way of thinking is biased. That doesn't mean you have to get paid every time someone doesn't see your flawless unbiased opinion, because guess what? You're biased too. Everyone makes oversights and lapses in judgment because we all have biases that get in the way of logical reasoning. Single ladies in your area do not advertise on the internet using pop-up ads. There are 3 sides to every coin. The right and left sides and in between. Your version, their version, and the real version that lies in the middle. Vaccines don't cause autism and are great in general. Sexism against men is still sism. Don't invade Russia in winter. You can be the hardest working person in your city and still not become rich wealthy. At least in the United States. That God's existence cannot be proven. Everyone is not perfect in every field of life. Everyone has special qualities and weakness.